I just got back from a week on the plains. If you're not familiar with the geography of the US, the plains are basically the beginning of the West. They have a major historical role and record, some good and inspiring and some dark and violent. This part of the nation is sparsely populated, very spread out, and their population is on the decline. The thing about the plains is it's never really been home to many people. Even in the early days of American migration, days like of the Oregon Trail and the Transcontinental Railroad, people would just pass through the plains. Very few people actually settled there. I recently started a brand new photography project all about this part of the country. Of course, I'll be sharing more on this project in the future, not in this video. But this project has moved from being just conceptual to actually being executed now, and I could not be more excited about it. And for this project, I decided that my Leica M11, my main camera for nearly everything that I do, would have to take a back seat to some of its siblings. So what cameras will be used in this project? Well, there's actually 4, and I'm going to walk you through the lineup. But before that, if this is your first time here, my name is Dave. I'm a photographer and videographer from the Bay Area of California. If you're not already, go ahead and subscribe to this channel. I post 2 videos a week unless something goes horribly wrong. So as we look at the 4 cameras that I'm using on this project, let's start off with my newest camera. Well, new to me, the Rolleiflex 2.8F. Now, I have mentioned several times on this channel how much I regret selling off my old Rolleiflex when I was trying to position myself to buy my Leica M6. I've regretted that ever since I did it, and I'm very excited that I was able to get another Rolleiflex, and this one's actually better than the one that I had. There's nothing wrong with the Leica M6, I just love medium format film, and I love square photos. I love the 6x6. It's probably one of my favorite looks of a photo. This camera has a Zeiss 80mm planar lens, which I knew for this project would be the perfect look for what I'm going for. And on a 6x6 camera like this one, that 80mm focal length is actually about 40mm. I used this camera as my handheld medium format film camera. The second camera that I used is my Hasselblad 500cm, also with a Zeiss 80mm planar. I used this camera on a tripod, and I used the shutter release cable to trigger the shutter. I also brought along a couple of different film backs, because if you're not familiar with the Hasselblad system, you can just change the back and change your film without having to finish up a roll, which is super convenient when you're shooting in different lighting, which I was. So I had a couple of film backs for this as well. So how I use this was I just put the shutter cable right in here on the shutter. It's connected. I'd put this camera on the tripod. I'd compose my photo just by looking down. I used the tripod at waist level, which would be, you know, how you're holding it. I didn't put it at eye level or anywhere else. I just had it right at waist level. I composed my photo, and then rather than looking through it to take the photo, I would just look at my scene, and then when I was ready, I would just fire it off. And it has the most satisfying shutter. Gosh, that just sounds so good. Using the camera like this was a very cool experience. All right, so we're gonna put this one back, and let's talk about camera 3, the Leica M6. And I mostly used the Leica M6 with the 50 Summilux lens. I used this for the photos that I needed a little more reach than the 40mm would give me. Also, photos that I wanted a little less resolution on, maybe a little more grain, a little more casual look, not so perfect like medium format is gonna be. Now, I obviously use the M6 handheld. I did not put this on a tripod. And basically, when I would arrive at a shoot, I would look at the scene and then make a decision about which camera I was going to use. I chose that based upon which film was in which camera, as well as the feel, the experience, and the look of the lens. And of course, now we arrive back full circle at the Leica M11. This camera was my backup for this entire project. On here I've got the 35 Summilux, which is wider than the 40 on the medium format and wider than the 50 on the M6. This is because with 60 megapixels, I've basically now created an insurance policy that if I get into a situation where the film photos don't turn out exactly right, I've got a digital copy of every single composition that I made so that I could crop in a little bit and reclaim the composition that I potentially lost. Because here's the thing, these cameras back here, they're pretty old. In fact, the M6 is the youngest film camera that I have, and it's 40 years old. The other two, the Rolleiflex and the Hasselblad, are both over 60 years old. They're wonderful mechanical cameras, but a lot can go wrong in the process with film. For instance, I could have a mechanical problem and not even know about it until I get the roll of film back and see that none of the photos turned out. And as far as I know, everything works, but the insurance policy of the M11 really does help me out. Additionally, the way that I edit all of my photos is very similar to film. And if you follow along on my Instagram, which is linked right below, sometimes I post mixed galleries of film and digital, and I would say most people wouldn't know the difference. For all of my edits, I use very good presets, and typically the only adjustment I may make would be on the exposure. Otherwise, the presets just work with one click and just bake it right in and use modifiers as you like. If you want to check out some film like color grades, be sure to hit very good presets linked right below and check it out. What I have here in this bag is all of the film that I shot, all not developed yet because I just got back. I've got several rolls of 120, obviously, some Portra 400, some Ektar 100, some Gold 200, as well as a lot of 35 too, these rolls of Portra 400 and Portra 800, ready to go. And where are they going? They are going down to Southern California to Negative Lab, where they will be developed and scanned on the Frontier and the Noritsu, depending upon the roll of film. I trust Brian 100% with my scans, and I cannot wait to get this film back and see how all of this turned out. If you shoot film and you want to give Negative Lab a try, you will not be disappointed. There's a link right below to Negative Lab. You can use the code DAVE and save a little money on your first order. So give them a try, see what you think. Just as a lot of things can go wrong with film, a lot of things can go right with film too, and the lab you choose is going to play a huge role in that. So I'm very excited about this project, and I cannot wait to share some more of it with you. If you want to be the first to know what this project is about and see some images, the best place to do that is just follow along on my Instagram. The link is right below. I've said that a lot on this video. There's a lot of links below. Just check them all out. But I'll be posting there, likely in my stories, maybe on my feed. It just depends on how I'm feeling. When this is a little further along and I have some stuff to share with you. If you want to take an extra step, add me to your favorites list. That's pretty pretentious to ask, and I'm sorry I have to ask. But if you add me to your favorites, it's like a guaranteed way you'll see when I do share this information. And I really hope you enjoyed some of the little video clips I got of the planes, of the scenery, what all's out there. Pretty wild stuff. And of course, stay tuned for the photos. They will be coming. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Drop a comment below and let me know what you think. I reply to every single comment that I see, and I see almost all of them. As always, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.